It's kind of weird, I guess. So I'm guessing I should get ready for the countdown to start, or like, well, yeah. Okay, yep. Okay, so we'll start. So getting started in 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm Bvc, and this is Undertale's True Pacifist ending glitchless. So the main goal of this game is we make our way through the underground world in order to get back to the surface, and in this particular run we do so without killing anything, hence the True Pacifist. First up we run into Flowey, who seems nice but clearly isn't. And now we're coming up on Toriel, the first major NPC we run into that actually tries to help us throughout this run. So one thing you'll notice right away is the way I'm mashing through the text boxes. Whoops. In order to advance the text as fast as we can, I do a little trick we call piano mashing, which is alternating between Z, X, Enter and Shift in a circular manner. Z and X advance the text boxes, and X and Shift advance the text, which is why all you see is really a blur of text coming up. So yeah, Toriel guides us through the first half of the ruins and basically covers how the traps and all that we run into basically work. Hardest part of the game right here. So let's see, what else can I cover? Okay, so because we're doing glitchless, obviously, apart from the obvious, we have to do certain actions in the ruins in order to be able to progress through the run without any major hassles. Okay, I just checked the frogget, that's not good. So we have to acquire 7 gold in order to get an item called the Spider Donut, which is kind of crucial midway through the run, as it saves a long and drawn out encounter. Then we also have to pick up 5 pieces of armor in order to also negotiate another long and difficult encounter later on. Otherwise, if we don't get those items, it makes the run really difficult in order to get past those 2 areas. Got the pit puzzle, didn't fall down. Okay, we got good RNG for the encounters here to get the gold. So that's the first half basically done. We're coming up to Napstablook now, who is a sad little ghost. We try and cheer him up. Fun fact, if you threaten or check on the 4th turn, you kind of lose the run, so let's try not to do that. So I'll take the 4th turn a bit slower than normal, just to be safe. Because otherwise you lose a minute and a half, or you die, basically, if you don't do it right. Here we go. So just coming up to the Spider Donut now, which is 7 gold, which we exactly have that amount. And that helps us with one of the boss encounters later on. And we're now coming up to the first item of armor we pick up, the Faded Ribbon. So now we just have to negotiate through a series of switches and traps in order to get through to the end of Ruins, and we'll get our first encounter. We'll get our first boss encounter coming up. Nice double menu there. I think that pretty much covers everything for the first part of the run. So if there's any donations or anything, now would be a good time to read them. Okay, just while I remembered, because this is the true pacifist route, we have to get the butterscotch pie here, in order to save some time later on in the run. Oh, wasn't even paying attention there, I mismenued like 3 times. Also, another thing to mention real quick is the version I'm using. At the moment I'm using the Linux version 1.001, which as of now is basically the, well, it's the second fastest version overall, but the faster version is also kind of broken with inputs. So, okay, there we go. We got the 8-hand setup. Ow. Ow, okay, that didn't work. Tutorial, please. Oh, come on. Nah. Okay, this is not going well. So normally what I would have done there is I would have gone into the fireball spawner on the left hand side, taken 1 damage, and got the 8-hand cancel, but unfortunately I went too far over and took damage. Took extra damage, so can't get 8-hand, but that's fine. But yeah, going back to the versions of the game, the Japanese version 1.06 does have faster text in terms of unskippable text. Unfortunately, the inputs for mashing are kind of broken, so it's 50-50 in terms of what version we run. So also this is the tutorial fight, I forgot to mention. We try and spare her. We can't flee the boss encounters, so we have to spare them and go through the fight without, well, in most cases without dying, where we try not to die at all. So it wasn't too bad considering we got a bunch of extra encounters and completely messed up the tutorial fight. It's a bit on the high side for it's a bit on the high side for a Ruins time, but again, there was some of the stuff we couldn't really avoid with the encounters, so it's not too bad overall. Any donations again would be a good time to read them. Okay, so we have now exited the ruins and we're moving on to the greater Snowden area. Let's see if I can get swag walk here. Hey, there we go. So, doesn't save any time, but it just looks really cool and that sort of thing. I forgot to do it in ruins before down the long hallway. So there we go. Basically, each area we progress through has a boss level encounter at the end of it, which we have to negotiate. Since this is the Pacifist run, we obviously don't kill, so we have to try and figure out another way to get past. The one good thing about the glitchless category as a whole is we do get to see some of the encounters and fights that we don't normally get to see through any percent runs, which will come up later, since we're not able to skip any of the fights like we normally do. Do a safety heal there. So what we just did in that room back there is we safety healed at the save point because there's a skip that comes up at the end of the area called Dog Skip, and it does 3 HP damage, which at the moment would have killed, at that point would have killed me. Also, we rearranged our items around because we want to have the stick in our menu so that we can easily spare some of the enemies that come up here. And I just spared Snowdrake accidentally. Okay. Oh! Okay, that was okay, that was a nice little thing there. So fun fact, that attack pattern that comes up is not normal for Doggo. And I believe it's a 1 in 1,000 chance? Or 1 in 100? Not 100% sure on that one. It's either 100 or 1,000, which is still pretty weird. So yeah, that's what we call the Doggo Drake attack, by the way. Since I so nicely spared the Snowdrake before, you got to see the attack early, but yeah. I think it's the 4th time that's happened in a run or in a race or anything like that. For me, at least. Okay, so Lesser Dog's the only dog type enemy that we don't use the stick on because it's an instant flee. Yeah, so most of the dogs here, like Doggo and the dog marriage coming up, we use the stick to spare. Okay, we've got the slow attack. Kind of cute though, to be honest. Yeah. So the other thing with this run is, okay, nice double menu. Anyway, let's finish this off. So the other thing with this run is because we're doing the True Pacifist, we have to complete a neutral ending first, and then go back and redo the second half of the run after. So with True Pacifist, there's basically 2 parts to the run. The first half, which is just completing the neutral ending as normal, since the neutral ending is a requirement to complete the run regardless. Coming up the ice puzzle. So this is the glitchless way to do ice puzzle. There's 2 ways to do it. There's the cinnamon swirl, which is, I want to say marginally slower, but not by any significant time. And the way we've just seen on the game itself. Yeah, and of course, with the true pacifist run, we have to satisfy a series of conditions, such as obviously not killing anything, and also hanging out with or dating certain NPCs. Okay, we didn't get dog skip. That's fine. Lost a little bit of time there, but nothing major. So we're coming up to the last bit of the outskirts of Snowdon before we enter. See Papyrus and Sands again. Okay, my keyboard would actually be nice. Okay, so this is Snowdon proper, Snowdon Town as it's often called. Pick up the manly bandana, that's the second item we pick up. So we have 2 of the 5 items we need for one of the fights later. Of course, there's one vendor we go to in Waterfall, and the other 2 items are just pickups on the ground. Okay, so coming on to the Papyrus fight, hardest boss fight in the game. I've lost count of how many runs I've done, and I've never beaten him once, so hopefully this time. Oh, okay, well, rip, that was bad. That was bad. That was bad. So that wasted a little bit of time. Okay. Yeah. Making a little bit of a mistake there. Just gotta try and concentrate a bit more now. Yeah, because normally for the first turn of the fight, you're supposed to check instead of spare. Which is unfortunate because that wastes about 10 to 15 seconds. I want to say, maybe less. Okay, so that's twice now I've tried and failed to beat him. Hopefully the third time will be the charm. Can't do it, I just can't do it. Every time, I just don't know how to do it. That's the third time I've lost to him now. Maybe next time it'll work. Okay. Okay, beat Papyrus, there we go. Okay, joking aside, with Papyrus it's easier to die to him 3 times and then choose to not fight again on the 4th time. Basically, it just saves time that way over doing the fight normally, something like a minute and a half. So now we're going to go and start the Papyrus Hangout, or quote-unquote hangout, or if you want to say quote-unquote date. Yeah. Okay, it was slow, but we got it. We got the spaghetti skip. So basically what happened just there was there's an opportunity to reject Papyrus' spaghetti, which gives you some text that you can actually mash through. If you choose to eat the spaghetti, it's basically unskippable text instead, which loses you about 4 seconds. And that is the Snowdon section of the run done, so we move on to Waterfall now. And normally this would be where I say we start breaking the run with the punch card, but we don't use that item because this is glitchless, so although that being said, they're still called skips even though they're not technically rule breaking or anything, but there is some tech coming up soon, I think. Well, more so Hotland, but there's setup for it here. As we get this little cutscene with Papyrus and Undyne. Kind of scary. Also, I'm sure it's everyone's favorite character that's coming up soon, Monster Kid. So we get some cutscenes and dialogue with them. Him, her, it, I'm not too sure. Also, rip falling down on your face every time because you don't have arms. This flower puzzle is the bane of my existence. Just doesn't want to go in place. There we go, ease it in. So, here we go. Hopefully we don't make any major mistakes in this section. Just want a nice clean waterfall. So we're coming up to Spears 1, the first of 2 Spears chases coming up here. Obviously not really pleasant getting a whole bunch of spears thrown at you and having to walk across a bridge like this. Oh, no. Okay, that just happened. That was a little bit weird. It has happened before. If you move in a certain manner on that particular part of the bridge, you can get stuck on a 1 pixel sprite, I guess you want to call it, which can have a tendency to screw you up and get hit by the spears, which, as you saw, just happened. So now I have to go and heal. Oh yeah, we can do it before spears too. There's a heal point there. I guess it was 50-50 on whether it was an execution mistake or just bad luck. So we'll go with bad luck on that one. Still no corridor. Feels bad. So the area I just went through before, there is I believe it's a 1 in 100 chance of the Gaster hallway coming up, and there's a 1 in 10 chance during the hallway of the actual door coming up. Of course, it's apparent tradition that if we get the door in a run, we have to actually go into the door and see Gaster himself. I've never had it happen, and I've never seen it happen in a run before on anyone else, so... Coming up to Onion San. Yeah, pretty sure I haven't missed anything. I've got the tutu, and that's the last thing I need for now. Yeah. Because we just need to get the... We need to get the glasses, which is after Mad Dummy, and we need to get the Stained Apron, which is after in Hotland. Yeah, it should be stick, ribbon pie, or stick, ribbon, donut, pie, or whatever. That should be stick, donut, ribbon, pie, then bandana. That leaves 3 slots, which is... Hang on. Yeah, because you got the burnt pan. Like, I almost feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't think I have. We've got 2 items, 3 more. Okay, safety heal there because we got hit and spares 1. No, I should be right. Yeah, because the stick's always in our inventory, so stick plus the 5 armors plus the donut and the pie is 8. Yeah, because we get the pan and we throw away the tough glove. Okay, so this is spares 2. Fun fact here, you can actually manipulate the pattern of the spears coming up because it actually places the spears based on where you're going instead of where you are. So that's why you have a tendency, that's why you're noticing that I am either holding up and left or down and left or something like that. Rip. Didn't take damage there, that's good. So that, yeah, I'm trying to manipulate the spears into being able to move out of the way of them and all that, which, as you saw there, didn't really work, but oh well. Okay, so now we're kind of trapped, and we run into our good friend Undyne again. Okay, fallen down into this part of the run now. Let's see if we can get... Okay, we didn't get Jesus Frisk. Again, it's like Swag Walk before. It doesn't really save any time. It just looks neat, and most runners often joke about it psychologically saving a bucket load of time on a run, even though physically it actually doesn't. So this is the Mad Dummy fight. Here we go. Let's see if I can get 5 cycle, or will I? Hopefully I'll get it. So you have to get the cotton balls to hit him in a certain way so that he just takes as much damage as we can get. Because we can't actually fight him normally. Okay, that looks pretty good. Looking good. Yep, we got 5 cycle. Nice. So 5 cycle is the quickest cycle you can get on Mad Dummy in terms of how much damage you've done or how many cotton balls you've got to hit him. Although sometimes with bad RNG you can likely end up getting a 6 cycle instead, which luckily we avoided. Okay, there we go. So with this phase here, we don't have to damage Mad Dummy, we just have to avoid the rockets and not take too much damage. Okay, and we've only lost 1 HP there, which is good. I've got knives, he says, throwing a single knife at me. Or it says throwing a single knife at me. Not a bad section. Okay, also Napstablook says hi again. Scares off the dummy and lets us get out of the fight, which is, yeah, good guy Napstablook, I guess. The safety heal there, because that 1 HP is going to be crucial later. Go into this shop here. Got the glasses, so that is 3 items of armor now. We just need the 4th and 5th. Oh no, sorry, not the 4th and 5th, just the 5th, because we've got 4. I can't count. Make our way through these 2 rooms here. Don't need to turn the lights on because done this part so many times. Well, actually, these ones here, because they're not out of the way, we can turn them on. And also, it is kind of difficult with this one if you don't have the lights. Hoi! Single best character in the game, not gonna lie. So now I've got a bit of time here. What I was implying before about the HP when I was healing, there is a skip that comes up later, which we have to set ourselves up to have 1 HP, otherwise it just loses us a lot of time. So, hence why I had to safety heal at the point that I did, even though I had 19 HP out of 20. Because the setup for this is very particular, and if I'm not at the right amount of HP, I could likely die. Although I will be safety saving before Undyne, just in case. Not really wanting to take any risks. This is a marathon after all. Okay, also, we don't go back to save Monster Kid here. I know it makes us look bad, but it saves us time as well. And unfortunately, saving time is a higher priority than saving Monster Kid. Okay. Sorry about that. So now we're coming up to the Undyne fight. I will do a safety heal here once I'm done with this cutscene. Okay. So again, this is the third boss fight we have, which again we can't flee from, but we do have we have to do a certain strategy here in order to be able to escape. Well, I mean, we technically do flee, but we can't right away. Because we're in what they call the green phase now, it means we can't escape normally, so we have to... We challenge instead of doing nothing else because it speeds up the attacks, which makes it slightly faster. And now we can flee back to normal. So, second cycle Undyne coming up. Okay, I'm gonna only challenge 3 times here because it gets me over to the spare menu for this part. Ideally, you want to challenge 4 times before going over to the spare menu, so you can maximize the speed of the attacks. But with that one there, because there's only 4 turns in that particular fight, where we challenge 3 and then spare the 4th. Damn, it took early damage. That's fine. This is fine. Get your last attack. And that is the setup. That's the setup for what we call Quiz Skip, which we will be getting to in a little bit. Also, we have to Undyne water here. This is also one of the conditions to satisfy the true pacifist ending. Otherwise, we cannot date Undyne and subsequently cannot complete the true pacifist ending. So we have to make sure she's watered now. Otherwise, yeah. We have to be as nice as we can in this run, just so everyone actually accepts the fact that we're not, you know, evil. So we're in the lab now, which is where we meet up with Alphys and Metaton, and where we get to do the Metaton quiz. Okay, watch me answer this question right. Oh, shit, no. Yeah, we actually kind of do that intentionally because We're on 1 HP, we get the question wrong so we take damage. It cuts to the end of the question straight away, and also it goes straight towards basically the end of the quiz. So we basically save quite a bit of time here, about a minute. Okay, there we go. And we have a crush on Undyne apparently, for Alphys. Yeah, it's slightly faster to go Undyne than any of the other options, just for that, yeah. So this is one of the many parts of the run that we see from this point on that we don't normally get to see in any percent, because we either skip it or, well, we just skip it. Also, the fact you can see Alpha's under the bathroom door still. Okay. Because we're on 1 HP, we've got to be very careful here. There is a strat that I'm going to do, which is kind of risky at this point, but it doesn't save or lose time, but it does make one of the mini games coming up a little bit easier. Okay, so there's a slightly slow spare there, slightly slow flee rather. There's one more encounter coming up before the bomb section. Throw away the tough glove, rest in peace. And yeah. That's the indicator that you have all the items you need, because you have full inventory on picking up the pan. Okay, so this is the one time where we can actually take damage at 1 HP and not really die, aside from the quiz. Also, we get to do the puzzles. Who here likes puzzles? Easy. And there we go, that's the east-west puzzle section done. Normally we just skip right by this, but yeah, well... yeah. Who here likes cooking and cooking shows? Also, fun fact, we need a human soul to make a cake. Today I learned. So we get to do the jetpack minigame coming up, which kind of a little fun thing to do and has a really catchy tune to go with it. Also, convenient phone is convenient, apparently. Time to no-hit this. Oh. Let's see. There we go. Oh, made it. Hey, we did no hit. Let's go. Actually, what I'm going to do here, safety heal, because we've actually got the opportunity to. And it takes away the risk of the third encounter we get in Hotland, potentially throwing us off for possibly dying. Also, I almost forgot that you go to right 4-2 now, because, yeah. Well, because with the any percent version of this run, we skipped the cooking show completely, and basically we skip the cooking show, any Metaton cutscene that we skip, with the exception of the quiz for some reason, we lose our menus and we have to go back to just outside Hotland in order to get our menus back. So we normally go to left 1, but with glitchless we just go straight to the appropriate floor. Okay. Puzzle number 105 of TPE glitchless. Safety save there. Just because royal guards shouldn't be a concern, but they do hit quite hard. They do hit quite hard. Okay. Okay, fairly straightforward. Just gotta dodge the carrots. Ah, right at the end. Feels bad. Also, unskippable text. Oh, sorry, no, I forgot. It doesn't automatically progress. And also, we get to find out how the royal guards feel for each other, which is kind of nice. Even though RG1 doesn't really want to admit it. Still have to menu to spare after the fight. So I got stuck there again. And now we're coming up to the bomb defusal. Another interesting part of the run we don't get to see. And you'll see in a little bit why I took the hit on the lasers. So those lasers are gone, which is good. Normally those lasers are on and you have to negotiate them. Also, with the present and the basketball, you can hit it with the pen instead of acting. Rude. Hitting those two is apparently easier and it somehow works the same. Almost perfect. So ideally, with the bomb defusal, optimally you want to have 63 seconds left when you've defused the last bomb. So having 61 seconds isn't too bad. Well, when I say defuse, I mean you've defused it and it's clearing out of the menu, so yeah. Okay, so we're coming up to left 3, which is the 2 north-south puzzles and going into the Muffet fight. So I'll do this one first. Also, fun little trick to not getting hit by the lasers there is walking backwards like that. Sorry, Alphys, I don't want to see your anime. Unfortunately, I'm sure it's interesting, but I just have no interest in it right now. Also, fun fact, the cactus is the most tsundere of plants. There we go, hardest puzzle of the game. I've seen people get that puzzle wrong before by doing the wrong directional order. Instead of going right left, they've gone left right, and it does not end well. Well, it loses you like a couple seconds, but yeah. Come back here in a little bit. Okay, so we have the spider donut for this very reason. If we didn't have the donut, we would be forced to fight Muffet in its entirety, and that is unpleasantly long, so that's why we get the donut. Gotta go back here and save for something that's going to come up in a little bit, which we call the opera skip. Unfortunately, we don't get to hear. We get to see a little bit of Pretty Princess Metaton, but we don't get to. We don't get to hear the opera. So we have the save and quit there. Well, not save and quit, but the quit. The reason we do that is it gives us the option to skip the opera, which takes a bit of time, and proceed to launch us straight into his underground trap. Ah, damn it. Did that in practice as well. Damn. So unfortunately, we didn't do that optimally because we took a wrong turn. Ideally you want to have around 10-11 seconds left. It still wasn't too bad. Also, Metaton's text, we can't really skip it, so yeah. On to core. Yeah. So there is a 6th piece of armor in game, which is the actually, sorry, there's 2 more pieces of armor in the game, but we either can't afford them or don't need them. Also, pseudo magic skip. So many lasers. Okay. Ah, damn it. Okay, we'll have to heal there. Basically, because for the Mettaton fight we want to have max HP, otherwise it makes things a little bit difficult. Also, last puzzle of the game done. Yeah, last puzzle of the game. Also, stigmatism coming up, we'll just spare that. Or flee that, rather. Yeah, so the reason we do the core puzzle the way we do it there... safety save here. We do the core puzzle instead of going up to the top of the path, because it saves time, and also with what we call the Warrior's Path, which is where the switch is, there's 3 forced encounters that we can't escape from. So we'd have to do the spare strats on all the encounters. So we don't want to take damage here, otherwise this could be bad. Okay, and then we're good. So we made it through the first half of the fight without taking any damage. Coming up, I'm going to attempt a skip called SA Skip, which involves using the 5 pieces of armor I've obtained, plus quick menuing and taking damage and all that, certain strats in order to obtain a rating level of over 12,000, which ends the fight. And attempting to do so before the SA section comes up, which loses about 10 seconds. Okay, so that's SA Skip. If we didn't have enough ratings when we did that particular turn, we would have to do an SA minigame. And apart from losing us 10 seconds, it's not necessarily redundant, but we basically have to type in something to satisfy the prompt. Well, I suppose we don't have to, but yeah. Also, a little bit of lore just in there that popped up with the first phone call. Mettaton alluding to the fact that they know who the first caller is, although it cuts off. Basically giving us an indication that Mettaton and Napstablook are closer than we think. So that's the Mettaton fight in a nutshell, and that is the... Well, the Muffet fight aside, because that's more like a 2-turn cutscene. Muffet's more of a 2-turn cutscene, so that's the first actual fight we get to see in this run that we don't normally get to see at all. Also, we get Alpha's doing her little thing here. Also, time to go up the long elevator. So we are moving on to New Home, which is essentially the last major area of the run, and we get to go through Monster Tale, which covers a decent amount of lore of this game. And yeah, so fun times coming up. So we've got a little bit of downtime here, so we'll just enjoy the music and hopefully be wonderfully informed by this dialogue that's going on. So just dealing with a little bit of bug at the moment. So coming up in a little bit we have Judgment Hall, and yeah, that is, as far as I'm aware, the last major skip and glitch list that we can do. And again, it's really called, really for most of these, skip is a loose term. Quiz skip, you still have to do most of the quiz. Essay skip is probably the only one that the term fits with. But I guess skip sounds better than judgment, being able to mash through all the text faster because you saved and quit. But yeah, basically that's what happens with Judgment Hall, is we save there, reload, and it allows us to mash through the text quicker instead of having unskippable text. Okay, so we also have Asgore coming up, and I'll get into that closer to the time. Hopefully my practice doesn't betray me and I don't get a 20 turn or something like that. That would be bad. You're going to be free. Okay, so coming up here, so we walk into the cutscene normally, and we wait for the first text box to come up before we quit and reload. Usually you can tell if you've done it right because the tone of the bells is higher pitched. Well, whatever you want to call it. That. It's higher pitched than normal. So normally here, in any percent, we do what's called a Rombu combo, which is 3 wrong wobs in order to get us past all the Asgore cutscenes and straight into the fight. Shoutouts to Rombu, by the way. But unfortunately, because we're glitchless, we don't get to do that. Dumpty-dum. Also, we save up here just before the end of the throne room, because it means we don't have to do this cutscene again, but we don't have to go all the way back to we don't have to start from the corridor here, but we then have to go back to Judgment Hall either. Also, just quickly before I start this fight, because we're doing True Pacifist, we have the pie, which I mentioned before saving a turn on Asgore. We eat the pie, which lowers his defense and makes it easier to damage and kill him. Also, Asgore's the only boss fight in the game that we cannot spare or flee. We have to fight to completion, and we actually have to kill them. But because of how the save mechanics in the run itself works, it doesn't actually count and disqualify us from the True Pacifist run, which I'll get into a bit after the fight. I'm just going to focus here. Good start. Ripped Asgore. Yeah, it's a couple frames off on the third hit. That was early. Still good. Oh, feels bad. 13 turn. Okay, so that was a 13 turn Asgore, which I think for a PB is actually, like, this is even ahead of PB Asgore. Okay, so that's yeah, so going into a bit more detail, basically because we saved before the Asgore fight and because of certain events that happened between then and now, between now and when we restart the run after the Flowey fight, it doesn't count the fact that we killed Asgore as part of the run, so we don't actually lose the True Pacifist run here. So we have to fight Flowey now, and after that is the True Pacifist ending. Also, there's a bunch of unskippable text. Actually, that might have been a 14... either a 13 or 14 turn. I'm not entirely sure, but it's still, in terms of consistency, it's not too bad. It's about what I normally get. Also, provided nothing else goes wrong throughout the run, this will be just under 153 pace, which is pretty good for a run, let alone marathon. Compared to my PB, that is. So now we have to do a roughly 11-minute auto-scroller, which is kind of meh. Also, nightmare fuel, anyone? I'm kidding. Ow, rip no hit. Okay. So, fun fact, for the Flowey fight, you can take something like, I think it's either 14 or 16 hits before you die. Okay, go left. Yeah, there's 2 of the soul phases which you can, well, one you can tell by default which way you're going. The other one is kind of RNG based, but yeah. Need the amplify button, there we go. I'm not getting good attack patterns here, I'm taking way too much damage. Yeah. So we've got to try and get as much health back as we can here. Yeah, an 11-minute auto-scroller is not really fun to deal with. It's painfully boring to say the least, but, you know. Damn it. I keep taking damage at the wrong time. Okay. Here's the one soul phase that you can actually get completely screwed up on if you're not careful and or if you're complacent. Basically, because the way the act button appears with this phase, if you're not careful, you can actually miss it, which means you... And also, because of the nature of the actual phase, you cannot catch up to the act button once it's passed, which means you basically lose about a minute. This coming from personal experience. I've had that happen twice in runs, where I've been slightly out of position and I've missed the button, and it's basically killed any chances of PBing that run. So this is the second one where you can sort of dictate where you can go. We've had one right, one left. I'm gonna go right. Ah, it was left. I've been bamboozled. It either comes from the left or the right. Try and get as much health here as I can. Yeah. So that phase there can either come from the left or right in that particular row, and it's somewhat RNG based, although I've heard you can somewhat tell what the pattern's going to be based on the way the words come across. Gonna not take too much damage here. There we go, 3 hits. Doesn't matter if you take damage here or not, I just don't like taking damage because... Flowey, please. Damn it. Last soul phase, and we do a little nifty trick here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now another save and quit there, or another quit and reload. Basically because after the gun act phase, you get a cutscene which takes up about 30 seconds or so, which we want to try and avoid, and basically reloading the game skips through that cutscene. I don't know why, but I guess that's just how it works. It's just registered that we've done the cutscene already. Also, enjoy the owls, the constant owls. Okay, because we get health drops here, I can take damage throughout. Obviously not too much, but within reason. Just gonna wait a little bit on these two. Okay. If you time it right towards the end of it, you can get quick kill. I think it's usually just the last few attacks that you have to wait on a little bit. Although apparently some people would say you have to wait on all the attacks, but I don't know. Flyway trying his last-ditch effort to try and do us in once and for all. But, as we're about to find out... As you get to find out in a little bit, that doesn't work. Nani? Flowery trying so hard, but doesn't work. It just doesn't work now. Because the souls are about to rebel against Flowey because they realize that they're still semi-conscious of what they're doing and realize that they are allied to me rather than Flowey, I guess you could say. I could probably put it better, but I can't think at the moment. Okay, so it's a little bunch of 7 quits here. Okay, so that is the neutral ending done. Now we have to backtrack and complete the pacifist route. So we have to go back to Waterfall and date Undyne, then go to Hotland and date Alphys, and then complete the rest of the run, which, yeah. Also, did anyone enjoy the long elevator the first time? Oh, never mind, it's not as long this time. Melaton's corpse is gone. Oh no. Le gasp. Go back to left 1, which is the quickest way to get to where we need to go. Go and say hi to the boat person. Safety save there, just in case. Okay, wrong boat. Also, squadala, we are off. So this is predominantly mashing now, so nothing really special here, I guess. Also, Undyne, please don't act like we haven't met. Also, cheesy Papyrus is cheesy. Casually jumps out the window like it's nothing. Doesn't even hide the fact that he's trying to get out of there. He's just like, you two have fun, I'm just going to go out through the window. What? Also, instead of cooking with a killer robot, we have cooking with a killer fish. And rip Undyne's house. Feels bad, man. Okay, that was close. Menuing almost let me down and I almost wrong-boated, but we averted. Tra-la-la. Tra-la-la. Also, did Elvis weld the door shut, or is that just how the door sounds when it opens? That seems kind of weird if that's how the door sounds when it opens. If it was welded, I understand. Also, more mashing. Yeah, we got 3 dating skips. Nice. Also, you can faintly hear the date music in the background. Also, get dunked on, Alfies. Jog boy! Oh, we didn't get Jesus Christ there either. Rip. So now we have to go back to Hotland, because apparently we somehow went from Hotland to Waterfall on the date. Okay, Frisk, please. Don't get stuck on walls. And we're coming up to the True Lab segment of the run, which basically, aside from the dating here, True Lab is basically the point of no return for the True Pacifist route. So basically, once you go into True Lab, you've locked in the True Pacifist ending. So congratulations, we're pacifists. We can't kill anything else now. Also, apparently this elevator has a malfunction and a temper tantrum. EM tether stability lost. Altitude dropping. Okay. Don't you just feel like the atmosphere is so soothing here? You know, all the stuff that's been set up the way it has. Also, I'm not gonna safety save. Well, not even a safety save, really. We don't need to. I'm not gonna die here. Famous last words. Also, welcome to the Amalgamate boss fights. Make sure I did the right menuing there. Of course, we refuse. We don't want to join them because, well, why would we? Okay. Mashing, please. No, the only point we really want to save in this part of the run is just before we get the yellow key, or just after we get the yellow key, rather. Just to be safe. Also, in any percent, this section of the run we call Wrong Warp Hell because literally it's just all wrong warps, and every wrong warp has a chance to soft lock, so fun times. Luckily we don't have to worry about that here. Also, easiest boss fight in the game coming up. Again, 'cause it's technically a dog class monster, so we just throw the stick and spare. No wrong warps, no, this is glitchless, so we're not doing any wrong warps. Okay, can I put the key up, please? Now I come up to lemon bread. No, I need to interact, that's right. I don't like this attack. And 3 slow attacks in a row, because of course. Ow! That hurt. And we deal with Snowdrake's mother, I believe it is. Well, that's what it's called in the, that's what it's been known as. Even though it's just called Amalgamate here. Also, speed boost. Now to the yellow key on the way back. And we have one more Amalgamate encounter, which is coming up soon. Should remember the menuing for that. I'm just gonna safety save. I'm gonna Reaper Bird time. Let's go. Prey pick on Mystify. That's right. Yeah. I completely blanked on that. What's it, everyone in chat? I hope you're enjoying the run so far. Pick on. Yep. Pick on. And Mystify. Here we go. So normally for any percent we'd skip this fight because we do an overflow here. But because, well, yeah, you get the idea now. And that is basically it for True Lab. We just have to do one last section and we get to move on to the end game of this run. Still on sub 153 pace, which is good. Also, yeah, this is the main reason. Well, I mean, you saw it before when we went back to do the dates, but this is why we saved after the judgment skip. Because otherwise, if we saved before, it would trigger again, and we'd have to go through it. But we've done all that. We just have to go and fight Asgore again, it seems. Well, we have to go through this part of the run again at least. We don't actually have to fight Asgore. Oh, hello, Toriel. Here's more mashing. You two should kiss. Metaton, please. Forcing action like that between Undyne and Alphas when we already know what's going on. A tiny flower? Oh no! Also, hi Flowery, thanks for trying to kill me again. Even though you failed the last 2 times, and you'll fail again. Yep. This weirdo's got nothing on you. Yeah. Although we are coming up to the last fight of the game, which is also the longest by far, and for this run, definitely the most difficult in terms of execution. All of your souls are belong to me now. Flowey, please. Oh, hello, random goat-looking thing. Somewhat menacingly evil laugh, I think. Howdy. Okay. Also, yeah, Azrael boss fight coming up. Definitely the best fight of the run. Ah. Let's do this again, that's fine. Let's see if we can get Rainbow Azrael. If we do it right, we get Rainbow Glitch. If we don't, also it's not a bannable glitch, so this is fine. Ah, damn it. No, we didn't get it, we were way too early. Ah, damn it. I do not like the star attack at all, it's always been my problem area. Swords. Damn it. Take the last stream, just to be safe. Damn it, took hit there. Oh, I checked, shit. There we go. Also, if you thought this attack was bad before, it is 10 times worse now. Even though, whoop! I still somehow dodged it. Nice. Gonna lose a little bit of time on menuing, but I'm still alive. That's the main thing. Oh, damn it. Should be a couple more turns after this. We're looking for when Azrael says, "Isn't it delicious?" There we go. So that's the last attack before the end of the phase 1 fight. Now if we dodge this, then we don't take any damage, but if we get hit even once, we go down to 1 HP. Hypergona. Made it. Nice. So, we can afford to die once here regardless, but we don't really want to die at all. But normally we try and die, depending on how much health we have, either early on if we're at low health or late on if we're at half. third phase now, which is good. Ah, we died right at the end. That's unfortunate. I was trying to make it. Also, best pun of the game. Okay, I picked the wrong option there. It was a little bit slow, but yeah, it's fine. Also, reason number 2 why we take the pie in this run, saves a turn at this part of the soul fight with Asgore and Toriel. Also, that's the end of the second phase, and basically the fight as a whole. Oh, no, not second phase, third phase, rather. So, provided I didn't lose too much time at Hypergona, this could still be sub 153, but this will be at least low 153. No, I don't need anyone. Also, probably the single saddest part of the soundtrack in this particular cutscene, or fight, or whatever you want to call it. Also, just to check, I completely forgot about it. I don't know if the incentive was ever put through, but we're just about to come up on whether or not we're hugging the goat. So, if there's anyone in chat or anyone that was keeping track of it, that can let me know whether or not. Do it? Okay. You know what? I'll do it. We'll hug the goat. Why not? There we go. We did it. We hugged the goat. There we go. I mean, it'll still be a mid 153. It'll still be a mid 153 at least. Like, I'm not going to save a lot of time at the end of the run here, apart from like 5 seconds at most for mashing. Okay, also time's coming up at the end of this cutscene. I'll give you guys about a 10-second heads up, roughly, or 5 seconds rather, because it's basically the very last text box of the game. Okay, so time's coming up in about 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Okay, so that is Undertale's True Pacifist ending glitchless. I hope you guys enjoyed the run as much as I enjoyed providing it to you and such. You know, thank you for watching, and I'm not 100% sure what's up next. Let me check real quick. Pac-Man Adventures in Time, I believe, by Pinball Wiz 45B. Should be a good run. And again, thank you for having me on here, and hopefully you enjoyed the run. And yeah. So that's basically it, I guess.